Hey, I'm Christian from BD Diesel Performance. Today we're installing a 68 RFE transmission and taking it through the Relearn procedure. This Relearn procedure resets the adaptive mode of the transmission and recalibrates the shift timing. Not following this Relearn procedure correctly can lead to premature transmission wear or even catastrophic transmission damage. We've just installed the 68 RFE transmission, and it's imperative the quick learn be initiated before driving the vehicle. There are a few things that must be checked before we initiate a quick learn. The transmission fluid level must be in the operating range. There must be no fault codes in the TCM. Transmission fluid temperature must be greater than 60 degrees Fahrenheit. During this test, we have a mechanical pressure gauge hooked up to monitor true mainline pressure. Not all vehicle scanners will have the capability to initiate a quick learn. We're using the Chrysler WeTech, Snap-on Modus, and Auto Ingenuity have this capability. Now that we have the scan tool connected, we're going to check for DTCs in the TCM, as there may be DTCs from the transmission failure. Reset the DTCs. If DTCs persist, please correct them before proceeding on to the quick learn. To initiate a quick learn, with your scan tool software, go to miscellaneous functions or special functions. You'll find quick learn underneath these functions. You can either double click or hit the activate button and follow the prompts on the screen. This function will initiate the quick learn procedure. We hit next at this point. The engine must be running, the brake pedal must be pressed, the parking brake set during the entire quick learn procedure. We are in park. Then hit next. Move shift lever to overdrive. In overdrive, shift to neutral. Start sequence signal, move shift lever to overdrive. Quick learn procedure is in progress. Oh, now we can feel a lot of things going on in the transmission. Quick learn procedure complete. Move shift lever to park. If your scan tool does not have this quick learn function, there is no substitution. Disconnecting the batteries will not do this. The scan tool must initiate the quick learn. Now that the quick learn process is complete, we are ready for a drive learn. Before we leave for our drive learn, we have to bring up some key parameters in our scanner. Actual line pressure, desired line pressure, and if you can, throttle percentage. Not all scanners will support it, as well as all CVI values for all the different clutch packages. Some scanners will support more CVIs than others, but bring up as many as you can. On the scan tool, we're going to check actual and desired line pressures. These two pressures should be within a few PSI of each other. We also are going to refer to the mechanical gauge, which should also be fairly accurate to the actual and desired at low load and idle situations. The drive learn process requires shifting up and down through the gears until the shift quality improves and becomes consistent. As we leave, we want to accelerate lightly and drive the truck carefully as the transmission is not ready for holding power yet during shifts. Find a quiet stretch of road where we can start and stop repeatedly. Slowly accelerate up to fourth gear at about 15% throttle. Observe the shift quality and repeat the process for about 5 or 10 times until the shifts become consistent. Repeat this process again at about 25% throttle, and again at 35% throttle, and again 50% throttle. It's worth noting that the truck has a harder time learning light throttle shifts than heavy throttle shifts. If the light throttle shifts seem to shudder slightly but are at least consistent, try drive learning at slightly higher throttle angles. If it improves, continue the drive learn process. These light throttle shifts will improve as the vehicle sees more stop and go driving. Once we start drive learning the truck at higher throttle angles, we will see the mechanical pressure gauge start rising higher than the numbers displayed on the scan tool. This is because the BD ProTech pressure controller is increasing the line pressure as engine boost pressure also rises. We also need to verify operation of this system before we can take the scan tool and the gauge off the truck. The best way to do this is set the truck into fourth gear so that it will not upshift, then roll onto the throttle. At higher engine boost pressures, we should see the scan tool showing 160 psi of actual and desired, but our mechanical gauge should show around 250 psi or a little above. This confirms the system is working as it should. If we see the actual pressure shown on the scan tool dropping off, this may indicate a fluid restriction or another problem. You should contact BD if this occurs. Once we are happy with the way the truck is shifting in lower gears, we can take it up to the upper gears and confirm shift quality in gears 5th and 6th. Generally, these will be good as they use the same clutches as 2nd and 3rd. The CVI values will change with each shift during the drive learn procedure. Once the CVI stabilizes between 1 and 2 points and the shift quality is acceptable, you may return the vehicle to the customer. Please ensure the customer is aware that for the next 200 to 300 miles, no heavy towing, no drag racing, and no sled pulling is recommended. The more stop and go driving the customer can do will create a better shift pattern for the transmission. Note that it's not advisable to keep changing power levels on your tuner. This will continuously put the transmission in an adaptive mode and try to improve shift quality each and every time the power level is changed. This will lead to accelerated clutch wear. The better shift quality the transmission has, the less wear the transmission will have. Do it right, do it once, do it without warranty.